want to make it clear, I understand what assault is. I'm not in high school. If I were in high school.
Like, we need help to beat Sleepy Joe Biden? I don't think so.
I used to have a temper nice. I don't have a temper anymore. Nothing ever bothers me.
Joe Biden is a dummy.
Look, folks, I
call him 1% Joe. No, I'd rather run against, I think, Biden than anybody. I think he's the weakest mentally. And I like running against people that are weak mentally. I think Joe is the weakest up here.
Subject for today.
Yeah. I didn't get the best out of that slurp because this is one of the mugs when we had the shortage from the Vox Apocalypse.
So it's a little.
So remember we had to recruit separate mug providers, and the handle's a little bit smaller. So it's less practical, but it's limited edition.
Oh, that's a nice way to spin it.
For everyone who has it. Really glad to be with you. We do have that debate next Tuesday night. If it actually happens and Joe Biden shows up in person,
we'll see.
I will never be so happy to eat my words.
Yes.
And he will swallow his tongue.
I don't think that's part of dementia.
I don't know. I think it's a side effect of levodopa. So we're going to be talking about a whole lot today. Hunter Biden is in some new hot water. New York, Portland, Mr. Bill Barr has deemed them anarchist jurisdictions. We'll have Manny, the art critic, on, as well as talking about Florida buying the votes of felons. But my half-Asian lawyer, Bill Richmond, is here. How are you,
Hey, glad to be here.
Glad to be here. Quarterback Garrett, show me your
Hey, what's up, dog?
Gerald Day, how are you?
I am well, sir. How are you?
Good. I'm doing okay.
You're okay.
And RBG, how are you? No. Joe.
Oh, Joe.
my gosh.
He's still on it.
Stop it.
Such a loving dog.
She's all bone.
Just, no.
Thank you. Good boy. See, he's a
stopped.
good boy. And
No.
is he just?
Don't go there.
The other
Don't.
leg.
Wow,
No.
that's not the other
She
leg.
would have wanted it that way. So.
What a woman.
So terrible.
He's really
This is
investigating
my
it.
program. We also, by the way, will be in Michigan, state capital.
Yes.
Lansing. On no one pet him. Hey, Joe Lewis, go to your place. Hey, can someone come and grab Joe Lewis here?
Joe.
Someone in the edit bay come and grab Joe Lewis.
He's come for the source.
Hey, I got him. I got him. I got him. Don't worry. He's
No,
fine.
but it's going to distract me because my dog should not be eating the Honorable Ruth Bader Ginsburg.
Anyone, really.
It's
yes.
hard to focus.
I don't think that dog eating is the worst thing that's happening right now.
Start. All right, before we move on, let's just hit this right off the top. It's breaking. Hunter Biden finds himself in more hot water. You know about Burisma, and you know about the fact that he did the crack and was banging hookers and his brother's widow. But there's some new developments because of a Senate report. I think Fox News is the only one to have covered it. Hold on, let's go to CNN really quickly before we have, there's the same-sex attracted brave Hungarian. That's a nice portrait, but no. So they are not covering it. I've watched them all morning. I haven't seen them cover Hunter Biden. Doesn't mean they haven't, but I've watched at least 2 hours of CNN. Fox News covered it. Let me show you what they covered.
The Senate Homeland Security and Finance Committee finding the Obama administration knew Hunter's position on the board in 2014 was problematic and, quote, ignored the glaring warning signs.
Joe Biden
the committee also obtaining records from the Treasury Department showing, quote, potential criminal activity in transactions with Hunter and his associates with Ukrainian, Russian, Kazakh, and Chinese nationals. Joe Biden's campaign calling the probe a, quote, exploit to bail out Donald Trump's re-election campaign.
Yeah, I think Joe Biden is doing like the Katie Holmes, the kind of half smile.
The coy half smile.
I was like Tom Cruise's face, man.
Yeah. Let me do it again. I can do better.
A little bit of Drew Barrymore. That's stealing your taxes. So what do we know that's new? That's terrible. What's new do we have from the Senate report? Well, we know about Burisma, and he was obviously sitting there making six figures monthly, not yearly, actually, because I know a lot of you think of the salaries annualized. Sure. But he got $3.5 million. I want to make sure I have this right. From the Senate report, from the wife of the former mayor of Moscow. Had ties
Russian ties,
and Chinese ties, too.
Yeah. Was he banging her, too?
No, but he did allegedly use some of that money, not only for prostitutes, Hunter Biden. It takes a special sack of human shit to do what he did. It wasn't only prostitutes. It was, from what we know, this is from the Senate report, people who were victims of a sex trafficking ring. So Hunter Biden was the guy behind the glass and Taken 2. Was it Taken 2 or 3 where they're bidding?
I think it was 2.
I will bid on Girl from Lost. Liam Neeson, my GPS says is only 4 blocks away. I will bid on Girl from Lost and cannot see how this situation goes wrong.
Give the girl to men with teeth.
Yeah. How awful, Hunter Biden.
That is pretty
How
low.
is this not being covered anywhere? This guy, his dad is running for president, and his dad effectively got him the job.
They're saying it's a political hit piece, though. It's okay. You can just sweep it under the rug.
It's a political hit piece for Donald Trump to bring up the fact that I used my power to get my son into a 7-figure contract with a company that he had no business working with, as well as using the former mayor wife's $3.5 million to buy sex slave. You know what? I am so tired. The media keeps focusing on the wrong thing. No one cares about real news anymore. It's all about the Kardashians and Miley Cyrus and the vice president's son buying sex slaves.
I mean, come on.
What's this country coming to?
I thought one of the interesting things was it wasn't just that Republicans had been saying it and that folks had been suspecting that this was a big problem, because we already know about Burisma generally.
Right.
But it was that Obama officials not only knew, because we know they knew, but that they knew it was wrong.
Yeah.
Right.
That's part of what's kind of part of the report that's not getting a lot of attention. And it really is only starting being covered really in the last kind of 30 to 60 minutes. You're starting to see a few articles come out, but CNN still is there any way for us to not mention
and let's be clear, this is from a Senate report, so this is not something that's being argued.
Right.
It's just how unethical is it? That's really the argument right now. It's
exactly.
It's really it probably wasn't illegal. And how do you feel about the son of a sitting vice president buying from? Let me get this right. Make sure I have a quote from buying sex slaves from an Eastern European trafficking ring. How do you feel about it?
That's Eastern European is
Eastern
better.
European. You know what? You can tell he has a type. Like he's not going for the voluptuous, cover of Stuff magazine. He likes that sort of Bulgarian anorexic look.
Is it the tears that he wants? I think
probably
that's what it is. It's unwilling.
Tears of a taxpayer, tears of sex slaves. It's just Hunter Biden.
Yeah, well, I thought it was tears of a widow.
Yeah, that too as well.
Man. No,
he probably
been there.
Think about this. This is a guy who probably role played with his brother's widow that she was an illegally sex trafficked slave.
An Eastern European.
Yeah, that's what's required for him. Look, it's not it's an Eddie Murphy or a Hugh Grant, who just showed up and I'm lonely.
Yeah.
Come on, the guy used money from the former mayor, and we're talking about Russian interference.
Yeah,
$10,000 on 3,000 ads. What? The guy used money from Russia for sex slaves.
Come on.
Right, and if the left is really concerned about ties to Russia and ties to China and things that they have
was tying up
no,
Russian
he exactly. He was going further than that. Yeah,
if they really are Russian knot.
If they really are concerned about that, they should be just as concerned with his ties.
Yeah,
right, and Joe Biden's son's ties, because they've done everything they can to get rid of Donald Trump Jr., to get rid of Jared Kushner and all of their ties, and
which
all that's
I think
terrible.
Is fair. They're fair game because they're public figures,
right? But so is Hunter.
Biden.
Exactly, that's my point. And
when you start getting $3 million for sex slaves, I think you're a valid target.
yeah, absolutely. Bill, you made a great point. John Kerry, I think, under oath said that he had no idea what was going on, and they have documents now that prove that he was briefed on it the day after he was appointed to Burisma's board.
Yeah, well, his head's a trapezoid, so I buy it.
It's hard for information to stay in there.
It just can't be captured. It's naturally repellent. No, I mean that is the part. That is the part that does raise the questions, and it does support what the president has been saying about the level of corruption and the involvement. Again, not just in the Obama administration. Again, I'm not saying that Obama was there and he was like, "All right, is he on the board? All right, great, excellent." No, but that officials knew that it was wrong, and without a question, Joe Biden has not come out with an explanation.
Right.
And now it's clear that he can't. So I am very excited.
Whether he wanted to or not now.
That's not unique.
No,
that's not unique. He can never come up with an explanation.
Sure.
He can't tell you how his shoelaces are tied. Did they do the rabbit ears or did they do the around the world? I pooped.
But this is why the timing. So there's we're starting to see some of these articles that are coming out, Washington Post, et cetera, that are saying, well, this is clearly tied to smearing Joe Biden ahead of the debates. But I will tell you what it really is it gives less room for Joe Biden to equivocate on what was known or not known, what he knew or we didn't know. They're starting to box him in even further about how bad the situation was, which is actually what the American people need to know. Yep. They need to be able to not let Joe equivocate on this. They need to hear the vice president go out there and say, Yeah, I'm just going to play dumb still. No, I am dumb. It's not playing.
Yeah.
Right. Sir,
we have method acting.
Yeah, we have video of you saying you told him to get rid of the prosecutor. Can we go to the video? You said you bragged about this to the world.
He's the simple Jack of politics.
Okay, so can I ask you a quick question?
Okay.
It's a prediction question.
What?
Is, like at the town hall, is Trump going to bring evidence in his pockets?
I sure hope so.
He's just going to bring a garter.
What's
He's going to bring a garter. Like, look what I found in Hunter's hotel room. Edible panties. Gross. Gross. And that's a good point that what you're talking about is this equivocating. Because can you imagine? Think of this for a second. They were speculating, going, was Donald Trump Jr. on cocaine when he was doing his RNC speech?
Likely.
Again, can you imagine if Donald Trump Jr. or Eric, they went after them for going on big game hunts that, by the way, sustained the entire economies
totally
of these
legal
African
things to do.
regions.
Yeah, exactly.
Can you imagine if they were doing blow off an Eastern European sex slave's hip bones?
Oh, yeah, it would be.
You know what?
It would be every channel all the time.
You know what? The rich are different. Let me really quick. So, by the way, if you're watching this on the YouTube, do subscribe on Apple Podcasts and Android. This is the time to let you know, and leave a review or a star rating there. And every Thursday and Monday, there's a secret word in the podcast. And there are instructions on how to win a lock of Gerald A's hair. Also, of course, do consider joining Mug Club, loudwithcrowder.com/Mug Club. There's a whole other 45 minutes of the show today, every day, so much more content, and it's the only way this continues. So, my other question of the day here is, well, you know what the question. How do people get away with this? Honestly, what does it take? Yeah. Just kind of like we're going to be talking about federal jurisdictions, right? Bill Barr saying these are anarchist jurisdictions. People are going, oh, this is just playing political football. Hold on a second. All right. It sounds absurd on its surface. And granted, I understand that me referring to something as absurd when my domesticated animal just chewed a sitting corpse of Ruth Bader Ginsburg. I don't have a leg to stand in, but I don't need one.
It was a supreme life.
I only need one leg, like a stork. I thought that should happen at Chaz. Let me explain to you my logic. How could Bill Barr do this? When Chaz, when they say, hey, listen, guys, you can't be shooting people in American cities and burning down precincts.
It's a bad look.
Like a teenager in their bedroom smoking cigarettes like in Face Off. You know, Chaz was the over-the-top teen caricature from a 90s thriller. Like,
very much
so. Screw you, Dad. I'm going back to listening to Sublime, man. So this was Chaz.
We're doing our own thing.
It was like, hey, stop killing people, stop raping, stop pooping intent. Screw you, we're going to do our own thing, man. And I'm like, all right, well, listen, hey, mayor's like, screw you, we're going to let them do their own thing. They don't obey your laws, man. At what point do you say, oh, you don't obey the laws of the land? You don't get any money from the land. I thought it should happen with Chaz.
It's a pretty simple process that they should go through.
And they think that's fascist.
Deal with it.
Oh, fascist. You burned. Just stop burning down your shit.
Wait, so you hate us, but you want our money still? Is that what I'm hearing?
And we'll get to it. So, Bloomberg is buying votes in Florida. There's so much to get to today.
I think that's the biggest uncovered story.
Kyle Rittenhouse is being charged. Jake Gardner, the guy who shot Skurlock there in, was it Oklahoma? Oh, yeah. We'll get to all of this. All right, so my question, anyway, okay. Here's something else I just want to cover really quickly because I've been talking about this on CNN. You've heard this story of, I think it's Olivia Troy. It's back to Face Off. Castor Troy. So
nice, two references.
Olivia Troy. You've heard this story everywhere they go. This Pence aide is turning on Trump. This Pence hire is now talking about. Here's a clip to give you an idea where she's talking about Donald Trump behind closed doors. This is the insider who's turned on the administration. Not quite, but here's the clip they show.
There are many possibilities.
Oh, no, wait, that's Mitt Romney. That's the wrong one. Can't you look at the clip? Stop it, quarterback.
That's clip A. That's clip A.
Well, can you read A and B? A, B, C, D, E, F, fired.
Don't put this on me.
In Spanish.
I don't care. That's a clip because Mitt Romney now said he's going to support Donald Trump. He said he's going to support Donald Trump's Supreme Court pick. Sorry, I forgot. A lot to get to today. Yeah. Guess what? He's still a dick.
This is not redeeming him.
What kind of dirt do you think someone had on him for him to be like, all right, I'll go along? Was it someone like, hey, Mitt Romney, this is not a picture of you after Temple last weekend with a mug of Maxwell House?
Oh, no. No.
Yeah. Will you be I think you'll be confirming the Supreme Court now. I won't wait up.
You think the special underwear controversy was bad?
It's decaf. Well, it depends. When Joseph Smith gets on his red telephone, ring, 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 it's now it's hot drinks. It's not so much caffeine.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
What about booze? Booze is now good. Yeah.
I should have confirmed Gorsuch. Maybe he did.
Just hit the stones again and see.
No, you're right, Carter Blackett. I missed those.
I do have that clip, though.
Do we have that next clip? Okay. This is Olivia Troy, the person you're supposed to know as, and this ties into the Hunter Biden thing. It's nothing but hearsay. All of the scandals with Donald Trump. This is the new one. They want you to think that everyone is turning on Donald Trump, so hopefully you will. These are his closest insiders. And Mike Pence, close insider, Olivia Troy, talking about how horrible they are behind closed doors.
Did the President of the United States really say that?
Absolutely. I was sitting to the right of him in the room when he said it. Whoa. And he was like, and you know when you're a politician, you have to shake a lot of hands. You have to shake a lot of hands, and these people are disgusting. It's gross. And so maybe COVID's probably a good thing, right? I don't have to shake hands. I don't have to do that anymore.
He said that maybe COVID's a good thing because he doesn't have to shake hands with people, with disgusting people.
That's what he said.
Oh, my God. By the way, this is well known. Donald Trump is a germaphobe. I thought Donald Trump was a dick when I was a kid because I happened to read an Esquire magazine. It might have been Rob Report. I used to read these at Archambault in Canada on the newsstand, and he talked about how he hated social gatherings because he didn't like shaking hands. Doesn't mean that he thinks his voters are disgusting. Does Howie Mandel think everyone on Deal or No Deal is disgusting because he fist bumps? It's well known, and this was probably said in the context of a joke. Most important, Olivia Troy, by the way, was not hired. She wasn't handpicked by Mike. She worked in the Bush and Obama administration. She was a legacy hire from the Department of Homeland Security. She never liked Donald Trump and Mike Pence. This is all they have. Oh, Russia. Well, there's nothing there. Donald Trump called the troops losers and suckers. Well, we've confirmed that's not true. Look at this new scandal. Can you believe that he hates his own supporters? No, because she wasn't picked by Donald Trump or Mike Pence. She's a liar, and that's funny as shit. So I don't care. Just like when he said to, remember it was Sarah Huckabee Sanders with Kim Jong-un. He said, I think this is the famous scandal. He said, I think Kim Jong is taking a liking to you. Go take one for the team. Do you know how we know that story? Because she told us it. It wasn't a scandal. This was probably, they probably said, hey, it's like this lady could have been a librarian. Like, we're going through the previous staff. Do you want to keep the library? What does she do? Shush people? Who uses a library? She got a nice little pooper on her, too. I'm joking.
Yeah, this Troy gal seems like she'd be able to take a joke real well, Yeah,
exactly.
And let's be honest,
people
are disgusting, okay?
People are disgusting.
People are disgusting. Come on.
Maybe some people be real. I'm not going to lie. When we do the meet and greets after the show, right. I love meeting fans. But every now and then, someone comes up, and it is pungent.
It is.
But it is pungent. Yes. And they're coughing. I don't know.
And this is pre-COVID that you had this.
Yeah.
I am not a hater of people, but I am a hater of touching a lot of people.
Are you saying COVID's a good thing, Stephen?
Yeah, that's basically what I just heard as well.
You know what? I'm neutral.
At this point,
think about every major scandal. This is what there's that guy who does the Trump report every day. It's like, let's list this so far. Donald Trump is a rapist. No. That's again people who've come out and they've all been debunked. Donald Trump colluded with Russia. No. We know that's true. Not true. Donald Trump called the troops losers and suckers. No. Oh, the former Donald Trump aide said that he hates his supporters. No. That's what they have. Do you know what the scandals are with Hunter Biden? Receipts of $3.5 million from the wife of the mayor of Moscow used for sex slaves.
And Daddy
according to a Senate report.
Yeah, exactly. It's got a little bit more weight to it. And by the way, she was actually fired. The lady was actually fired in question. She had nothing to lose, according to Bill Kristol, a famous never-Trumper now, right? He had nothing to lose going against the most powerful world. Yeah, exactly. Oh, different guy, I think. Bill Kristol, not Billy.
Isn't it Mick Kristol?
I don't know which one it is.
All right.
But nonetheless, she was fired. A three-star general came out and said, actually, I was there in every one of these meetings. I never heard him say anything like that. And I fired her and escorted her from the building. A three-star general versus her. Yeah. I'm not sure who I'm going to believe.
Hunter Biden just heard escort? Who? What?
Escorted? Huh?
Really quick. Let's go to the Muppet in Chief, Dr. Fauci. Breaking news.
It's called a strategic approach.
COVID may cause fatigue, muscle pain, cognitive and neurological symptoms.
There are 6
guess what?
that the federal
That's every the flu causes that.
Yeah, but really quickly, a very important thing. Look at the long haul thing they're doing at the bottom. That is the next phase of the COVID deal. Okay, fine. People are getting over it, but there are long haul consequences that we have to. That is absolutely Alex Berenson talks a lot about this. He's like, just watch out for that, because we may
That's
get
the
to
new
a point where
phrase.
these things go down and deaths go down, hospitalizations, but that's the phrase that people are going to use to scare you
They're
next.
gonna
Long
perpetuate
haul. And there may be long-term consequences. That's fine to deal with that and figure out what it is. They don't know that right now.
That's with a lot of diseases.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know if you know this, but it's really hard to test for mono because once you have it, you always have it.
Right.
And there's a more expensive test to do. I found this out because I had it, and they were like, my doctor said, well, that just test means that at some point you've had it. He's like, this is a different test that we have to do to find out if it's active.
Right.
But if you're really
Dirty
tired,
boy.
just go home and sleep. Okay.
Yeah, well, half of what they're saying right now, though, is that it could cause a heart arrhythmia. Well, they could have had that arrhythmia before.
Yeah.
Right? I think that's the right word. My wife will help me.
At this point, I don't trust anybody on
She knows
any
those
of
better
this
than
I also
me.
don't trust the heart arrhythmia because they put Hunter Biden in the control group. It's like, well, of course, he's been doing coke and banging
That's on
hookers
him.
unprotected.
I mean,
That's not the gold standard.
He had Secret Service protection with him during his time in Ukraine.
true.
so
You
he
can't
was
snort through
protected.
the mask.
The spit mask.
Well, I can, but it's an N95, so by the time it's almost as though it's less potent.
Oh, no.
Activated charcoal, my ass.
have to do more.
All right. Here's another thing that just really bothers me, and I'm curious as to Half Asian Bill, your thoughts on this. I'm looking forward to having Manny, the art critic, behind the paywall because I'm so tired of news.
Yeah, that's true. So let's talk about art.
Bloomberg, the failed who ran for the Democratic.
The really short guy?
Yeah, that guy.
the dancing, that guy.
Yeah.
Oh
The
my
Napoleonic
God, the
complex
dancing
guy?
Barney. By the way, what happened to people who were against corporate money in elections? Remember the Democrats?
It just depends.
Get corporut money out. Now they're like, look how much Joe Biden is fundraising.
Unless it helps us.
What?
Dinesh D'Souza was put in Cool Hand Luke Mason ankle chain
exactly.
because he gave $5,000 to a friend's senatorial camp that she lost.
Yeah.
But it was because she lost, right? Wasn't that why he was excoriated? They were like, gave to a loser.
They gave to a loser. He's like, I didn't know she was going to be a loser when I gave the donation. All right, we're just going to house arrest you, so you shut up.
If you're going to go down for a crime, at least win. Pick a winner.
So
Come on.
anyway, man of the people, billionaire, and attempted big gulp banner, Michael Bloomberg. He's paid fines for 32,000 felons in Florida so that they can vote. Because there's a law in Florida that was passed in 2018, I would argue stupid, reinstating voting rights for felons that dictated they could register only if they pay all fines, fees, and restitution, sometimes totaling more than $1,000 owed to the government. So I think there's carve-outs for specifically only sexual assault and murder is what I found. So if you actually commit like robbery or just normal assault, like assault regular, Bloomberg can just pay assault zero.
I think he wrote in. He said, as long as it's not big gulp assault, it's okay.
Yeah. Think about this so you in Florida. Let's walk through this here. You can strong arm a liquor store for a pack of Camels or Cools. That's probably your pick. You can strong arm a liquor store for a pack of Cools and Colt 45. You go to jail. You come, or you haven't served your fine. You haven't paid your fine. Bloomberg, billionaire, comes in because he wants to buy your vote, pays your fine, and then you get to vote in for the government that establishes laws regarding armed assault.
Well, he can't buy the presidency, so he's got to buy something.
He's got to buy
else.
something. Yeah.
Buy it for somebody else.
I hope he spends every dollar.
If you disregard the laws, why do you get to vote on the laws? Now, I understand the difference between a non-violent offender.
Right.
We talked about this yesterday. I think that non-violent felons, for example, like I don't know if it's tax evasion or let's say even if it's theft. I don't know when theft becomes a felony. Like probably not stealing from a supermarket.
It's usually based on the amounts or the type.
Right.
It's aggravated.
But let's say it's not violent. You know what I mean? I don't think
Yeah.
you should lose your Second Amendment right once you've served your debt to society. However, if you have committed serious felonies that are violations of laws that infringe on other people's rights, I don't think that you should vote on laws protecting people's rights. And keep in mind, too, in Florida, they're neck and neck, Donald Trump and Biden. And last time it was separated, it was something like a few hundred votes.
Yeah, it was a tiny
small
margin there,
amount of votes.
Fortunately, right now, Biden actually, it's 45-41, I think, was the last one that I saw.
Biden
actually,
has 45? No,
Trump now. Trump is actually edged
Well,
ahead.
that's because
that's fantastic.
We used to wait for the cavalry, showing up around the hill. Now it's just you're waiting for Cubans.
Well, and why does Bloomberg want to pay for this? It's because he knows that these felons are going to vote for his guy.
Right.
Well, he hopes that
Do you know who hates felons? Cubans. That's the mistake that the left has made with immigration, with illegal immigrants. They've just taken all Spanish-speaking. I think it was in Miami-Dade County, right? 2/3 of the people who responded in Spanish, which means it probably don't even speak English, right? They're probably Telemundo. They responded that they supported Donald Trump. And I think the big mistake is people who are Spanish-speaking here, people who are legal immigrants, they do not want to be lumped in with illegal immigrants, and they don't want to be single-issue voters in opening up the border and not building a wall, especially Cuban Americans. That is a huge shift for Florida because Cuban Americans were the most overwhelmingly Republican voting bloc, and then they switched. They broke for Obama for a while. I think just because a lot of people did, kind of like Donald Trump. Obama was an unknown. He was charismatic, so a lot of people voted for him. But now Cuban Americans have broken overwhelmingly for Donald Trump. And it's surprising. I don't have these numbers exactly, but I kind of have to piecemeal them. Everyone who is from South America or Latino who is not Mexican is almost all inherently conservative on individual issues.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so there is a foothold there that you can get, but they might be voting Democrat. The difference is, of course, a lot of people from Mexico directly have family members who are illegal immigrants because of close proximity. People in Chile, people, even if you go down further, Brazil, people from, even if you go to, you go to the Caribbean.
How about
do you say
Patagonia?
Caribbean or do you say Caribbean?
I don't know.
I say
depends.
Caribbean.
Well, Cubans. The point is, if they're not Mexican, they're surprisingly more conservative, and they don't like being lumped in with illegal immigrants.
Right.
So I think that Democrats have really misgauged that.
They really have. Democrats' whole plan has been to go after the Latino vote. We've seen that in every primary. We've seen it in every presidential election so far. And in the new numbers from Florida, Donald Trump is doing very well.
He's doing better than Biden.
Yes, he is. Very well.
Not comparatively, he's beating Biden.
He's beating Biden. And also in Arizona, another place where that's going to matter a lot, he's up now. Trump is up by a point in Arizona when he's been down for quite a while.
I thought he might lose Arizona.
Yeah, I think it's 46, 45. The margin of error is still, I think, 3 or 2.5 to 3.5, somewhere in there. So it's still within the margin of error, but it's a huge shift. Like, you're seeing this movement when they're like playing
Are
Despacito.
you sure about that?
This morning.
Oh my
this
gosh.
morning.
Well, one poll. Okay, I've seen the
Well,
rolling
it was ABC.
average.
It was the ABC News.
Ooh, and that's a really biased poll.
But it was likely voters and not just registered voters, right?
Wow.
The people that are likely to go out and vote. Both of those, the numbers I gave you from Florida and Arizona, ABC this morning.
Yeah,
So,
I don't see a world in which
happening.
Donald Trump does not win Arizona and Florida.
It'll be
and
close,
can't win
but
the
yeah,
election.
I think so.
If he loses, for example, like Texas and Missouri, which RCP has as toss-ups, I can't see a world in which Donald Trump loses Texas or Missouri and doesn't lose every single state.
Yeah, I mean,
we should be the last to go.
If you're in that world, you're. I mean, there's not going to be any states. I mean, there's like 3 or 4.
Exactly.
But I think what it is that again, the backfiring of the progressive left is that you're viewing people in blocks based on their skin color, ethnicity,
and black bloc.
Yeah.
Right. Or for example, you've got Vice President Biden saying, "Oh, well, there's not as much diversity in the black community as there is the different types."
They're
of
all
Latino
black.
community," which is an
What about the
admission
shades?
that he knows there are differing voting blocks within the Latino community.
Right.
But they're just saying it's just Latino. All we're going to hit is immigration.
Right.
But not realizing that there's a strong contingent of religious conservative voters who are looking for a reason to vote conservative.
Right.
If they
really
can,
are.
if there's any way they can, or they don't think that Vice President Biden is going to see them other than a checkbox to get to the election, they're not going to do it. And that's something that they're just continually ignoring. While they say they're going for the Latino vote, they're not actually working towards addressing the issues in those communities.
Well, they are for illegal immigrants. By the way, hit the notification bell if you're subscribed on YouTube because subscriptions don't mean a whole lot. We do this show Monday through Thursday, every morning live, and we take your chat 10 a.m. Eastern. Next week, we have the big stream on Tuesday night. The theme, by the way, is old school boxing, so send in your costumes.
Nice.
And
Next
then
week is packed.
we have a break on Wednesday, Thursday, because we are going to be in Lansing at the state capitol. Some major scoop to unveil down there, and we're actually going to be encouraging you to take part in activism because Governor Whitmer, I've got your number, sweetheart. So that's going to be Friday. Is that October 2nd or 3rd? Friday, October 2nd? October 2nd. I think it's at noon. At noon, Lansing State
You
Capitol.
got the numbers from her.
I got the number. I don't have the numbers yet. But see, now you're foreshadowing.
You let it out of the bag.
It's all the old people she killed that she hasn't really revealed the numbers. So Governor Whitmer, we're coming. We got a request for you, sweetheart, and it's not to lower your boat over there in Charlevoix.
And then Saturday's the big fight, right?
Saturday, the fight with Chris Cuomo.
So that's
so much.
And you've got a full week.
packed.
I've bit off more than I can chew. All right. In the world of I was about to say de Blasio, Bloomberg.
Bloomberg. Close to the same.
I didn't know you slept with people like Bloomberg. I know it wasn't Bloomberg. But
That was a
he would have people like Kyle Rittenhouse and people like James Gardner, who the story about, those people would be locked up or dead, which is actually what we have.
Right.
And people like Scurlock could vote. People like Jacob Blake could vote. So
Right.
people who
Yeah.
commit violent felonies can vote, and people who defend themselves lose their right to live freely in the United States of America. Look, CNN, let's go to them really quickly. Nothing on Hunter Biden.
To support
Nothing on Hunter Biden.
They had like a newsflash go across to all the reporters. Do not say the name Hunter or Biden.
We cannot get to the currently running for
Right.
president's son spending money from foreign. Think about just the money that Hunter Biden took from the former mayor of Moscow's wife to spend on hookers is more than Russia paid in all of their Facebook ads ever.
Right. And if it's not
Like by I don't even know what the exponent would be. Not multiple, exponent.
And if anything is breaking news, it is not this. At least have it up there and say this is the worst thing that the Republicans have ever done. Breaking news, they lied about Hunter Biden. They're not even doing that because they can't.
They're like, COVID gives you the sniffles.
Breaking news, guys. Oh, God, Hunter Biden. Don't say Hunter Biden. Go COVID.
The worst thing this Republican will ever do is stick a gun in my mouth if this news cycle doesn't change here.
Don't do it.
Just say his name, Hunter Biden. See, just say, I can't. It stings.
Burns.
I just hate all the things. So Jake Gardner, you guys may have remembered this. Sorry, it wasn't Oklahoma. It was Omaha. Do you remember the protests? They were in Omaha, and a bar owner. No, I was the one who queued you up for it. Jake Gardner. Yeah, Jake Gardner was a bar owner, and it was James Scurlock was the guy who attacked him. So Gardner shot Scurlock in self-defense. And let's go really quickly here. You can just run it as B-roll. The secure, or is it a clip?
It's a clip. I can turn the volume down.
Yeah. Okay, you know what? You can. Here's the security footage in case you had forgotten. Let's roll this really quickly. You can see. Gardner is mounted by a guy, right? He fires a warning shot. That guy gets up and leaves. Away. He tries to get up, and that Scurlock who jumps in tackles him and continues punching him in the head, right? You see this here, and then he finally ends up shooting Scurlock. So this was outside of a bar. In case people don't remember this, now we can bring up the volume because it was his attorney.
To get the gun away from him.
Even if they're difficult decisions, even if they might be unpopular decisions. But it's based on what the evidence is and what the law is. And that's what I hope people understand here.
So that was the county attorney, Don Klein, right? We covered this. We thought it was kind of the end of it where he said he wouldn't file charges because this was a completely justified shooting. Again, let's keep in mind, it wasn't just a war of words and then they start shooting, right? It was a guy who got on top of him. I don't know the first guy. Bang, 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 punching him, trying to pound his head into concrete.
Yeah. And trying to take his gun.
And trying to take his gun. Yeah. Gardner fired a warning shot. You can clearly see not at him. That guy gets up, runs away. And so he's getting up the second time. Then another guy tackles him, starts beating his head into the concrete, and he shot him. And the county attorney said, all right, this is clearly justified self-defense. Yep. But then activists, of course, went nuts because they get the stories wrong always. And the attorney crumbled and turned the case over to a grand jury who found him guilty with 4 felonies, including manslaughter. So if he had been convicted, Gardner would face 95 years in prison, and he killed himself. So Gardner committed suicide because he talk about a guy who defends himself from not 1 but 2 savage beatings and already fired a warning shot is then charged with felonies. Yeah. This is a question to you. If this isn't justified use of your Second Amendment rights, what does it have to be? Someone having already entered your gun safe in your home?
Yeah.
These are 2 people who were beating his head into the concrete with no one. Here's something else that people don't think. People were around.
Yeah.
None of them helped. Because guess what? No. If he'd have fought somebody off with his hands, I don't care if he's the UFC heavyweight champion of the world. There's another guy lining right up, and they're all going to jump on you. He would have been at least beaten into the ICU, beaten into a coma at best. At worst, would have been torn apart by a pack of wolves.
Well, again, they were trying to take his gun.
They were trying to take his gun and beating the hell out of him.
Well, and it was not just that. There were 2 guys that he fired the warning shot. I think he actually fired 2 warning shots. In that moment, he had an opportunity to shoot them and chose not to.
Right.
They get up and go away. He starts to get up, back turned. A guy comes, not only is punching him, he's actually choking him with his right arm.
Right.
And so he finally, at some point, is I'm about to die, or I'm going to have to shoot this guy, and shoots the guy in, I think, the clavicle right here through the neck, something like that, from right here.
Right.
And what else is he supposed to do? I think maybe wait until you die and then use your gun.
What do you think?
Is that how they do it?
I mean, you saw the flying leap that the guy took onto his back. I mean, there was no question in that moment.
And that was the second guy.
Right, and that's the second guy, right?
That's after
the third. That's the second beating. The third guy. There were two guys initially.
Oh, it's a
and
third
that's
guy.
the third guy.
Second beating.
Yes.
Second beating. Can't keep track of all the beatings that are happening here. There's no question that when you had that moment and the announcement that there was just self-defense involved, that seemed like the right decision. It seemed that it's supported by the evidence, by the witnesses, by the camera footage, and then you see what is a very clearly the bullying and ignoring of evidence that then caused the government to crumble and move forward to bring these charges. And it's a tragedy because it's essentially folks not only saying, you already have the bad actors who are saying, we don't care what the facts are. If you shot someone who's on our side, end game, this person deserves to burn.
Right.
And again, not just even if
he committed the crime of defending himself while white.
Yes.
Well, yeah.
That's honestly really what it comes down to.
Or using a gun, because apparently everyone who has a gun is a racist. And, I mean, those kinds of...
Well, unless you're that asshole in Austin, Texas, and you aim it in a car at an Uber.
Pretty much.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
But that guy was justified.
Well, I mean, it's just... listen, and I know we always have to be careful because we don't have all the information. But come on, if not this, what? This is where when people say, no one's coming for your guns, no one's coming for your Second Amendment rights, I would say that's coming for Second Amendment rights.
Yeah.
If you punish somebody who was being beaten twice by 3 different people and fired warning shots, listen, you're telling people they don't have the right to defend themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. You're basically faced with a choice right now in America where if you get attacked by a group of people, you can either be killed potentially, or you can defend yourself and then have your life completely ruined either by going to jail because they charge you falsely with a crime when you defended yourself, or people are just going to show up at your house forever, go to your job forever, and make sure you never earn a dime again and push you into a situation where you think suicide is the best way out.
Honestly, people talk about suicide being a coward's way out. If I'm him and I'm charged, right, with 95 years in prison at this point, and I'm the white guy who shot a black guy, and maybe I know I'm going to the wrong prison where they're not going to be treating me very well.
Yeah.
I understand it. Yeah. I understand it. Your life is ruined. And not only that, and I want to talk about it more sort of but punting it to a grand jury and how that works behind the paywall for people who are Mug Club members, ladoscredit.com/Mug Club. We can't get into all the nerdy legalese, but Bill is an actual practicing litigator. So I want to get his insight on that. But here's something else. They're trying to ruin the guy's name after he's dead. Yeah. Right? So keep in mind with George Floyd, with Jacob Blake, with Prude, they lied in saying, well, these are people, these were effectively saints. No one is perfect and no one is all bad. However, this guy had not committed anything even close to the multiple sexual assaults or child rape like Rosenbaum. So we need to be really clear here. There are bad apples. People are imperfect. But, when you have 4, 5, 6, 7 violent felonies on your record versus none, you'd think that'd be taken into context. The state senator, Megan Hunt.
Hell was a good word.
Megan Hunt.
Yeah.
Change that there. For Omaha's District 8 said, the indictment of Jake Gardner would never have happened without the community, the people, the mob, the pitchfork mob, who stood up for justice and demanded action from city officials. Jake Gardner is gone. Because he committed suicide. But the white supremacist attitudes that emboldened him are still with us today. Wow. Let's be clear. There is zero evidence that he's a white supremacist. They've said after reviewing private evidence, we've concluded this. Okay, just give me a taste. Like Hunter Biden with a little bit of that thimble of coke. Just give me a taste of the evidence of him being a white supremacist. If you have any, just show us anything. A swastika, burning cross, him having joined the wrong message board, anything.
Well, she's gloating over his corpse.
Right.
He's gone.
Right. Well, and by the way, last time I checked, let's assume being a white supremacist and not doing anything is not grounds for getting your butt kicked and beaten into a coma or killed.
No,
last time I checked, you had the right to be an idiot in this country. It's your actions that we base.
Let's say the guy was a white supremacist and he walked up and he said, "You're black. I think you're dumb." I don't know how white supremacists.
They probably talk like that.
Black people are stinky. You stinky black. Maybe he did something like that.
Yeah.
You still don't have the right to beat the hell out of him. My point is, even if he's a racist son of a bitch, and I've known a couple of them. I met one at Bob Evans once. That's the first time I heard someone use the N-word. And ironically, I've told this story. I was like, oh my God, you're the person they're talking about.
You exist.
You're a unicorn. But how do I know that he wasn't that? Because there's a long history of evidence. Let me show you. This guy, so Gardner was a Marine, okay, Iraq War veteran who did help on the Trump campaign, but he was peaceful. He was actually supportive of the peaceful protests, the Pussy March. Remember, we forgot about that because it went from black victims to female victims to black victims again, even though some of these criminals who happen to be black have victimized women by repeatedly sexually assaulting them. We ignore them because it's an election year. We need to raise money for Black Lives Matter. He actually supported the Pussy March and the peaceful protests. We have a video of the man in question, this white supremacist fascist. Here he was.
What do you think about what's going on here today with the Women's March?
These people just want to be heard, and it's a very appropriate venue, a very appropriate weekend with all eyes on them. So, I mean, it is what it is. It's kind of crazy being in the belly of the beast here with my Trump gear and my Make America Great vest on my dog, and all the dirty looks. Everybody loves the dog until they read the vest, But, everybody just wants to be heard. And so that's what they're doing. They're not being violent. There's not even that issue with this group.
Before you say it, it's not a crime to look like Yanni, okay? So he didn't deserve to die. And if he's a white supremacist, he sucks at it. That's
he's
the
really bad
of a skinhead.
Yeah, exactly. And by the way, I think what you said there and what we just saw, that's why he was associated with Trump. That's why he's a racist and a white supremacist.
But think about this for a second. Even though we went out there and we mocked the Pussy Hat March, right?
Of course.
I interviewed Wendy Davis as a transgender. Only got the interview because I was Stephanie a transgender and she couldn't say no. Even after my wig flew off.
That's hilarious.
That being said, I always thought, hey, this is kind of inappropriate to protest at the state capitol and show your breasts and have giant paper-mache vaginas. I was like, I don't really think this is really appropriate when kids are here. But you never heard us say they don't have the right to protest, ever. You never heard us say, we need to shut this down. That is very different from people committing assault, from people burning down police precincts, from people taking over swaths of towns, from people destroying cities and economies, from people shooting cops, from people committing $2 billion in damages, over 1,000 officer casualties, over 30 people dead at these protests, okay? That's very different. I am just like Gardner in this scenario, in that, I think that they're wrong. The Pussy Hat March, I thought it was silly. It was based on a lie. Remember the 77 cents on the dollar? But I don't think the ideas stand up to scrutiny, so I support their right to protest. I do not support your right to riot. And this guy was caught in the middle of it where 3 people assaulted him over the course of 2 savage beatings. He fired 2 warning shots. It was well known, including from the community attorney saying, okay, we're not going to file charges with self-defense. It took the pitchfork mob, the pitchfork and torch mob, who, by the way, have knighted Floyd, multiple-time felon, Jacob Blake, multiple-time sexual assaulter, Rosenbaum, who just happened to be shot by Rittenhouse, multiple-time child rapist.
Why do they always pick the worst people?
They came for this guy, and now this guy ended up killing himself. So it is an absolute travesty of justice, and we're going to continue actually here for Mug Club only talking about these jurisdictions where Bill Barr has said no mas, and that's not Roberto Duran, that's Bill Barr. He's bilingual. YouTube, thank you, but really we love the Mug Club folks more, so you can go piss up a rope.
Bye-bye.